Hey, welcome back. I am Hunter Logan. This is Hunter Logan Unmiked, and this is episode 3 of season 4. Now, it is Freedom Sunday. This is July 4th, and we're back in Woodville, Texas. But this time I'm playing lead guitar for the group Branded. Now, this would be my third time playing lead guitar for them. And to date, it's the last time that I played. I hadn't played for them again. Not to say that I won't, but I hadn't played any time for them lately. So I'm comfortable now because I know their songs pretty good. And I played with them already twice, so I'm settled in. So it shouldn't be no big deal. So this is out at Woodville, Texas. This is like the third one that HLE Radio has done with them. Woodville, Texas, the church out there. Michael Lee's going to be there. Brent Harrison's going to be there. Of course, Brent now is the worship leader out there. I told you that in an earlier episode. So we're out there doing our thing with the radio station and playing lead guitar. One of my sons and his friend and his wife drove out there. Came out and hung out with us for a bit. Had fireworks again. Classic car show. Of course, we stayed at the Winaway. Great place to stay. Again, I'm going to plug them folks. If you ever want to get away, stay at the Winaway. Those folks will treat you like family. Great place to be. July would still bring about some traveling, but we had a lot of stuff in the works. The family reunion leading up to 2020, which is what we were building towards, which didn't happen. But the meetings coming up to it, everything was going according to plan. Now, when I say that, I had finally got a meeting with the tourism director, with the lady who was in charge of tourism here for the parish. As I sat in her office and explained to her what had happened with the John Schneider concert, how it was a great missed opportunity for them and for the city of Jennings, she said, "You're right. It surely is." As I explained to her as many countries as we were reaching, and that our number one listener was Texas for states, and that's our neighbor, that we should be trying to get Texas to come over here, not just for the casinos, but for events we had here. She said, "Yeah, you're right. That makes a lot of sense." She said, "Let me set up a meeting between me, you, and the mayor." She said, "Put a proposal together." So me and my wife worked hard on a proposal for making Jennings the Christian country music capital of the world. Now, I've already set this in motion 6 years ago. So for the last 6 years, I've been billing Jennings, Louisiana as the Christian country music capital of the world. If you listen to the radio station, you know this. So much so that I've went out and trademarked the phrase Christian country music capital of the world. I have also trademarked the home of Christian country music. That's our tagline for the radio station. Because we are the home of Christian country music. Because we are the home of Christian country music. HLE Christian Country Countdown Show. I trademarked that. So it could be the official countdown show. Nobody could do a duplicate of it. The Christian Country Jukebox, the show that I came up with, that is also trademarked. I trademarked it because I didn't want that stolen either. So I had already started on marketing Jennings, Louisiana. Now, our family reunion that we have each year in March was getting bigger and bigger. And we were already bringing in outside revenue to the city between the hotel stays, the restaurant eats, people getting fuel, and shopping locally. HLE was already bringing outside money. So I put all this in the proposal. I also put in the proposal how Jennings, Louisiana could become a tourist destination. And it still can. And believe me, it still will be. I have not given up on that. And God has told me to not give up on that. Actually, as funny as this might sound to some of you, this is exactly what God has called me to do. Some of you will say, "Well, that's kind of out there." Well, everything I do at HLE Radio, everything we do at HLE Radio, the goal is souls. The outcome has to be souls. And if we do anything that is Christian country here, the outreach is going to be souls. So building the Christian country music capital of the world is to reach souls. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on all of that because I don't want anybody trying to do what I'm going to do. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But we had a meeting with the mayor. And through this meeting, there was a lot of things that came up. And he said, man, this is a very good proposal. So there's a lot of good things in here. But he was looking for something else. And he offered me some nice things. He offered me things that could have been beneficial to what I was doing, but it would have required so much time and effort that I would have completely had to walk away from what I was doing here. And I wasn't willing to do that. So we weren't at an impasse. We just weren't really on the same page. So we had some more meetings scheduled, and we were still in talks for that. So also during July, the Inspirational Country Music Association came down to make a huge announcement here on the radio station. Now, this announcement was made that they were going to have an office here in Jennings, Louisiana. That's right, the very organization that was in Nashville was going to have an office here in Jennings, Louisiana. They were bringing their operation here. And that announcement was made on the morning show at the end of July. And they did lease an office down here. In fact, I found them an office. I did the legwork. They told me what they were looking for. They told me how much they wanted to spend on an office. And I was able to find one for the price they wanted. And I secured it for them. And they leased an office down here. Now, that never materialized. They never came down here. So things are really starting to look good, especially in the next meeting. Because in building the Christian country music capital of the world, here we have a Christian country organization putting an office down here and considering to do their award show down here. So not only is the family reunion getting ready to happen, and that generates a lot, now you have another event coming. So it's looking good. Very excited about that. But it didn't really turn out that way. There would be a big snag coming about. Well, that wasn't the only announcement that was going to be made. Because right before that, and I didn't say anything, but right before that announcement, the Copyright and Patent Office and Trademark Office sent in the confirmation, I finally got it back, for the securement of the Christian Country Music Hall of Fame. In my plans, and part of building the Christian Country Music Capital of the world, was to put the Christian Country Hall of Fame here in Jennings. And I wanted there to only be one Christian Country Hall of Fame. You got to understand this, for those of you who don't understand Christian country. The genre has been, and first of all, there's really no genre yet, because it hasn't been built. And there's many people that don't agree with me on this. But it doesn't matter if they don't agree. I know what I'm talking about. It's been so shattered and so messed up. There's been so many clowns in this thing, and there's clowns coming in every day. And yes, I said clowns. This thing gets so muddied up, and there's no legitimacy to this stuff. And somebody's going to finally have to stand up and say enough's enough. I don't know if that guy is me. All I know is I'm only going to do what's going to bring integrity. All I know is HLE Radio can stand with integrity. You can look at the fruits that HLE Radio has produced. You can look at what HLE Radio has done in the short 8 years that it's been on the air, doing Christian country music. You can look at the artists that HLE Radio has found and promoted without charging them. Let me say that again. You can look at the artists that HLE Radio has promoted and found without charging them. Now, I could spend a whole podcast, I could spend a bunch of podcasts on how other organizations have exploited them and charged them and promised them all kind of stuff that they didn't deliver, and they come back to me and say, well, you were right, or you should have said something. Well, I can't say anything. When you're just getting into it and artists is just getting into this and they don't know, and I try to tell them something, I'm going to look like the bad person. Anyway, back to the Hall of Fame. You have umpteen million charts. You have umpteen million organizations. I wasn't about to have umpteen million Christian Country Hall of Fames. And that's why I trademarked that. So nobody else could have a Christian Country Hall of Fame. There'll be one. And it won't be the HLE Christian Country Hall of Fame. In fact, I'm not even going to be on the board. And it's not even going to be made up of artists. But it is secured. And we already have the first inductees to it. We have their stuff, I guess, if you want to say that, stuff that goes in the museum. And we have a building in the works for that. Now, I knew that when I announced this about the Hall of Fame. The building is still in the works. But I knew that then when I announced it. But it's going to be here in Jennings, Louisiana. It's here in Jennings, Louisiana. So it's all done. And it's trademarked. Nobody else can do that. And one of the things I was going to do is do that in 2020. We were going to unveil that. That was in the proposal when I met with the mayor, with the city, and tourism. That was in the proposal as well. But of course, the COVID thing and some other things put that on hold. So when the ICM, the Inspirational Country Music Association, decided not to come to Jennings, and I didn't find this out till later, and I'm not going to go into all that, but that didn't go too well for me, because I said, hey, listen, not only do we have the reunion going on, not only do we have the Hall of Fame coming, but, we have an organization out of Nashville who has an office here now. They can actively see that I am working for Jennings to be the Christian country music capital of the world. And that it is happening. They were very, very, very excited about that. And so was I. It really was. But all this excitement would later become crashing to the ground. And I'll tell you about that in another episode. Because it's going to be a while before we meet again. There's an election going on in November because the lady with tourism, she is in an election year. And she is running for state representative. She's currently the director of tourism, but she's running for state representative. After the election's over, we're going to meet again, and we're going to discuss more along the lines of Jennings being the Christian country music capital of the world. And see if we can't get more in line on the same page of what some things of the mayor wants and some of the things that I'm wanting. Because what he's wanting me to do, I'm not really wanting to do. I'm giving them a plan of how they can do. In other words, I'm giving them the plan of how what he wants done can happen, but he's wanting me to do what he wants done. I don't have time to do that and run the station. I don't have time to be the person to do it. I'm giving him the how to do it, but I'm not the guy to do it. Anyway, so we're going to convene and meet. But at this point in time, before we convene and meet, they don't know the Nashville people aren't coming. We're going to leave it right there for now. I want to thank you for joining me. Listen, if you haven't checked us out on Choice Social, do it. choicesocial.us. It's free. I'm always doing videos and posting pictures of me on the road. I still do Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But you're not going to see as much as you're going to see on Choice Social. Choice Social doesn't have any algorithms. You only see what you want to see. Follow who you want to follow. It's a new platform we're going to. Check us out if you haven't. It's Hunter Logan, Choice Social. Really appreciate y'all checking out Hunter Logan on mic. We're getting close to catching up to current time. And I'm really ready to get into the current stuff, man. We're getting closer and closer, so I'm excited about that. Hey, remember, Duke 28-2. I'll see you next time.